Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna go forward with the Fossilized Custom series by Lou White. Now we are on A Word About Time, and this is going to continue where I left off with the Doctrines of Demons, Roman Days, Moons, and Years, because I was only able to get through the days on my last video. Okay, A Word About Time. Since creation, about 6,000 years have been completed. These 6 millennia are the first 6 days, and the 7th will be the millennium of rest. We are very close to the end of the nations ruling themselves. Given the distances in light years that we can see into the heavens, outer space, many have fixed the age of the universe at almost 20 billion years. To look at Adam 5 minutes after he was created, they might estimate him to be 20 years old also. The trees with fruit on them were brought into being fully from the plants. That's possibly why the animals came second. Relativity has been at work also since the beginning. When Yahuwah created the Kaisers and the Quasars and the galaxies of stars, he brought their light to shine upon the earth. That's what it says. He created space-time. The real moons and years are based on the signs and seasons and measured in packages of years called jubilees, Yobel, numbering 50 years each. The pagan mind interpreted the sun, moon, and stars and changing seasons based on fertility and sex. Astrology and the zodiac are the source of all sorcery and rebellion. Plant and animal sex is Yahuwah's design, but the fallen state of man caused him to worship it and established religious traditions based on its processes. All history was recorded by the winners. It's understandable that their process of measuring time is what is used today. The original pattern of Roman timekeeping, established by the authority of Julius Caesar in 46 BCE, is still with us. Originally, there were only 10 months in a Roman year, not 12. Our Roman months totally disregard the real new moons. The proclaiming of the new month settled into when Kaiser announced it, and this act was called Kaiser's Kalends, Latin for proclaim. Originally, the first Roman month was March. After you have read this a number of times, you may begin to see this pagan process of keeping time is a kind of mark on us. What is a week, a day, and a moon? A week is a unit of 7 nights and days. A day is from evening to evening, experienced from whatever location one happens to be on the earth. A moon is considered with neither a week or a day, but is the complete orbital cycle of the moon around the earth, beginning and ending when the moon comes between the earth and the sun. Its period is 697 Earth hours, or 29.5 days, and its orbit is not concerned with any one location on the earth, only the earth, moon, and sun in relation to one another. Next section, Roman time, the months. The Roman calendar of months ignores the real lunar phases and the new moons. The term blue moon refers to the second full moon that may occur in a Roman month. Roman hypocrisy knows no bounds. March, first month, named for the war deity Mars. When the weather began to show signs of warming, the Roman armies would march out to war. Marching is what armies have done ever since to conquer in the power of the deity Mars. April, second month, the month of Venus, also called Aprilis, from Etruscan Apru, from Greek Aphro, a short form of Aphrodite, the Greek fertility deity. This was the primary month of the Great Mother Earth, known by many names. The Earth Mother was fertilized or impregnated on a Sunday after the vernal or Venus equinox, when the length of days and nights are equal. This Sunday was called Easter. Prior to this, the pagan priests imposed a fast from sexual relations. We get the term Lent from the Old English word Lengton, which means spring and refers to the lengthening of the days as winter turns to spring. And the next portion is stop with the fertility symbols. You are scaring the rabbit. If you can see there, that's the illustration for that one. Okay. The beast, Reign of Babel, wants everyone to worship the government. Like pledging allegiance to the flag, you're pledging allegiance to an object. Or pledging allegiance to your government, you're pledging allegiance to something other than our Creator, which is not right and has never been right. I can't believe they have our children pledging allegiance to a flag. They do a lot of things to harm children. A lot of this pagan stuff is targeted at children. The clergy is the woman riding this organism of control. Rome enforces its control over governments through concordats, ensuring only their religious traditions would exist in any realm. The U.S. Constitution made such a concordat impossible by the Establishment Clause. Tammuz, this is the next section. Tammuz, Babel's mark in ash. And this is the illustration for that. Okay. The first day of this fast, the mark of Tammuz was placed on the foreheads of the worshippers. The ancient Tao. Ashes on foreheads comes from the Hindu religion. The wave of Gnosticism from the East arrived in the Levant just prior to the 1st century. The Levant includes the lands of the entire eastern area of the Mediterranean Sea. The 40th day prior to Easter was always a Woden's Day, giving us the term Ash Wednesday. 9 months after the Earth Mother was impregnated at Easter time, a human gestation period, the sun, or sun in the sky, was reborn at the winter solstice, December 25th, further explained under December. May, 3rd month. This month was named after the Italic fertility deity Maya, aka Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. June, 4th month. This was the month dedicated to Juno, an important Roman female deity, the wife and sister of Jupiter. Identified with the Greeks' Hera, Father's Day was always in this month. Roscoe, shh! And on a Sunday, because the sun was the pagan's father, he was in his strength at the summer solstice, so you will notice this is still practiced. July, 5th month. This month was dedicated to Julius Caesar, Rome's first emperor. Kaiser is the original word. Caesar is a later development. August, 6th month. This word is Latin for venerable, magnificent, awesome. Gaius Octavius took the name Augustus Caesar after becoming emperor, and his title is used for this month. This was to honor himself, as Julius had done before. September, 7th month. Septem. Sorry, it's hot in here. The Latin word for the number 7, septem. October, 8th month. Roscoe! This is the Latin word October, 8th month, from octo, meaning 8. November, 9th month. This month was Novembrus, from the Latin word novem, meaning 9. December, 10th month, Latin Decembris, from the number decem, 10. The word decimal refers to 10. All these months have shifted, as you know. Even though we are saying December, Latin for 10, we number it the 12th moon. Isn't that kind of strange, guys? Rather than correcting this, we just keep thinking something else. This is the programming. The beginning of the year is based on the rebirth of the sun. According to Scripture, we are to begin our counting of the moons in the spring, as the sun nears the equatorial region. Exodus 12:2. For the whole planet, this is from the perspective of the northern hemisphere. The Creator has spoken, but man's kingdoms ignore him. Speaking to the converts at Galatia, Paul mentions, you are observing special days and months and seasons and years. Galatians 4:10. The Galatians were once pagan, enslaved in weak, miserable principles. They began turning back to their heathen Babylonian mythology. Read this in context because your footnotes will lead you to think Paul was speaking about Shabbats and the appointed times. He said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years. Genesis 1:14. It is written, this month is to be for you the first month of your year. Exodus 12:2. Yahuwah had to remind them because they had been captive as slaves for over 400 years and were now called out from error. This is the next portion. January and February were added. With only 10 months in the Roman year, the seasons were appearing later and later every year. Julius Caesar began hearing many complaints, so he appointed an Alexandrian astrologer named Sosigenes to devise the needed corrections, like the calendar needed correcting. Yahuwah made everything perfect. Why would things need to be corrected? But here they were. Sosigenes added the 2 months of January and February to the year 46 BCE, and it was called the Year of Confusion. No wonder. He also set up the cycle of leap years, which added a day to the month of February every 4 years. January is named for a domestic deity, Janus, who was the ruler of beginnings and protected doorways, gates, and arches. February was named for the female idol Februa. The authority to proclaim new moons resided with the Kaiser. He was the seat of all power, and he was designated the high priest of Janus, the deity of beginnings. The Roman title Pontifex Maximus is Etruscan, bestowed on Kaiser as the head of the Pontifical College of Priests of Janus, the Cardinals. Cardinal is Latin, cardo, meaning hinge. They assisted the priests of Janus in opening the door to the Elysian fields, the pagan heaven. Pontifex Maximus means highest priest in Etruscan. So Kaiser was the gateway to the afterlife for a Roman pagan. Julius Caesar's calendar is called the Julian calendar. We now have the Gregorian calendar because the title Pontifex Maximus was inherited by the Roman Catholic popes. The authority of Kaiser was transferred to this bishop and Roman Catholic pope. He also kept his cardinals. This bishop of Rome also uses Kaiser's title Papa or Pope, another Mithraic title. In 1582, Pope Gregory implemented a 10-day adjustment to the calendar designed by Sosigenes by wiping out 10 days from that year. This was obeyed by the Papal States, but the rest of the Western world remained on the former timetable. It was not until the time of Benjamin Franklin that the rest of society came into line with Rome. Landlords previously thought they would lose 10 days' rent, but Franklin convinced them they would be receiving their rents 10 days sooner by obliging the Pope. And so now we have the Gregorian calendar. This same Pope authorized what is known as Gregorian chant. These chants stem directly from monks' hymns, originally called Orphic hymns or the hymns of Orpheus. He simply sanctified the pagan hymns. Now the next section is Nimrod's Rebellion, and this is the depiction for this section. Pagan priests were astrologers who closely monitored the positions of the sun, moon, 5 of the planets, and constellations of stars. The Mazzaroth, or host of heaven, were the sky deities they worshipped. At set times during the year, obligatory worship and human sacrifice was conducted, all based on sex. They knew the path of the sun crossed the celestial equator at the vernal and autumnal equinoxes, producing equal days and nights at those events. Now back to Nimrod, the first king on the earth. He was the grandson of Ham. See Genesis 10. His secular title is suspected to be Sargon I, or the first, and he built Babylon and Nineveh. It was possible Nimrod, who built the Tower of Babel, a ziggurat made of bricks. The ruins still exist. Nimrod was a tyrant, and that is what his name means. He was a mighty hunter before Yahuwah. The word before means against. In the Hebrew, Nimrod turned the people against the truth and began the worship of the sky luminaries. Children were sacrificed in exchange for prosperity. He wore a headpiece with a horn in front as ruler, a symbol of his power and authority. Kings' crowns with horns used this design. The marauding heathens of Genghis Khan and the Vikings of the Norse wore horned hats and helmets to instill fear, cutting his body into parts and distributing them around the kingdom. It is said Nimrod took his mother, Semiramis, as a wife. At his death, his wife/mother consoled the people of Sumer by saying she carried Nimrod's child and named him Tammuz. Nimrod, she explained, had gone into the heavens and was now the sun. So the sun was the father and the earth was the mother. Semiramis was, in effect, a deity representing the Earth Mother. She was worshipped as Ishtar. Today, she is called Easter, and that is why Easter is celebrated. The real truth of why it's celebrated. And I'm going to read you the description of the photograph here. Who is Easter? She is Gaia, Astaroth, Ishtar, Artemis, Venus, Aphrodite, Semiramis, Nature, Great Mother, Frigga, Libertas, Eostre, Durga, Hathor, Queen of Heaven. And that is the photograph depicted there for Semiramis, Nimrod's mother-wife. The original witch on planet Earth was Semiramis, who became the great mother in many cultures, the mother of the gods, the mother and Mother Nature, are references to her. Rome's title for her was Terra Mater, Mother Earth. Witches refer to her on bumper stickers as the goddess, or great goddess Magna Dea. She is known by the various names Ishtar, Eastre, Venus, Aphrodite, Gaia, Diana, Circe, Sybil, Juno, Rhea, and to the Hindus, she is Durga. Pagans worshipped in trinities, threes, inherited from Babel, a father, a mother, and a child, 1, 2, 3. Babel is the reigning head of the world's authoritarian control. Scripture uses an idiom to describe this system of control: beast. Any beast is an organism, and the 4 beasts of Revelation describe how the beast adapts and molds mankind to Babel's teaching authority over all the earth as time goes on. Babel remains the head of the beast and is called a mother of harlots. The mother of the beast household guides the whole operation under her authority. The beast's 4 avatars are manifestations of the original reign of Babel. So all the aspects of the first beast remain to this day. Witchcraft is rebellion, and it began with Nimrod and Semiramis at Babel. The Great Mother or Queen of Heaven became mixed into Christianity. At Revelation 2:20, her teachings are those of Jezebel, a reference to the witch who married Ahab during the days of Eliyahu. The teachings of Jezebel are practiced openly everywhere. They are based on the worship of Baal and Asherah, but occulted, hidden in plain sight without being perceived. They are all about fertility, and this book will open your eyes to them. Are you practicing witchcraft without even knowing it? You are sobering up to see how nothing Yahuwah commanded is practiced by Christianity. Sorry. Instead, everything he told us not to do is what is practiced. We have been deceived by teaching authorities, given their great power by the dragon. Tradition is taught in place of truth. You will learn how witchcraft is employed in unsuspecting ways, institutionalized through teaching authorities, Nicolaitans. It is known by the Greek designation Christianity. This is the next portion. The proof of this rebellion will awaken millions. Rebellion is as witchcraft. The best place to hide it is in plain sight. Those with authority ordained, endorsed to teach are wizards and witches. They masquerade as messengers of light with titles like pastor, nun, pope, or bishop. They hold men's credentials, teaching authority, to teach error, producing the strong delusion we have all been living in an artificial reality, pretending that everything we see and do has real substance. We've been beguiled by evil forces that keep the masses hypnotized and captive in strongholds of false reasoning. The truth will set us free of this strong delusion as long as we live by Yahuwah's word, not man's. Babylonian pillars, obelisks, represented the generative powers of the male genitalia, were simultaneously images of the phallus, Nimrod, and a sun ray. Fertility rituals such as maypole dances are still seen today. And that is a fertility dance. And this is the depiction of the maypole. And the next portion is maypole fertility dance. Ishtar is the same word we have today in Easter, which superseded Passover. It's Nimrod's mother, also known around the world as Asherah. Astoreth, Ishtar, Eostre, Astarte, Maya, Gaia, Diana, Ninurta, Nana, Ceres, Ostara, Ostron, Isis, or Nut, the sky, Aphrodite, Venus, Indrani, Devaki, Tanit, Cybele, Artemis, Athena, and many others. The Canaanites called their shrines to the Mother Earth, or to the Earth Mother, Asherim. Wooden Asherim, Easter, Babel's great mother. And here is the depiction for that. These are all symbols of Asherah. It never says in scripture for us to bring a tree into our house. It speaks against it. This word has been adopted from pagans as the name of the Earth Mother, Queen of Heaven, or Mother Nature. If you recognize Halloween for what it is, then this will be no different after you learn the truth. Easter was already one of the two biggest celebrations observed by pagans long before Christianity. Easter was celebrated by the Assyrians and the Philistines. Goliath no doubt had an Easter basket. You should look up Easter in a Webster's dictionary and do further research in other sources. This festival involved the rites of spring near the equinox of Venus, when pagans believed the Earth Mother was impregnated by the sun in the sky. They engaged in ritual sex acts and used symbols of fertility like eggs, rabbits, and hot cross buns. The Babylonian symbol for the female was and is a circle with a crux beneath. The round cakes were baked for the Queen of Heaven, Regina Coeli, and Great Mother, Magna Mater, with the cross symbol indicating the female. The cross also indicated the equinox when the Earth's orbit crossed the celestial equator. Hold on now, because everything will be just fine. Stop and go read Jeremiah 44 right now. You'll see Asherah was this same Earth Mother, called the Queen of Heaven, which Yasharal, or Israel, committed sexual idolatry with. The maypole ritual uses a pole or a phallus, a wreath, which symbolized the vagina, and ribbons, which symbolize the hymen. And here are two, right here are the depictions for the last section. To ensure a prosperous growing season, pagans rolled eggs decorated with the bright colors of spring on their fields, hoping to imbue fertility. These eggs were then hidden from evil spirits in rabbits' nests, another symbol of fertility. Easter is the name of the Babylonian mother of harlots, Revelation 17. And her image stands as the sun goddess, Lady Libertas. In New York Harbor, this colossus statue even has the tower headpiece as seen worn by Artemis, worshipped as Diana at Ephesus. The sun rays, the torch, and facing the sunrise tell us is an ancient sun goddess, and Yahuwah hates it because it's an idol. It's pretty much bowing down to an idol or pledging allegiance to an idol. Her emblem is the flower of the lily seen illustrated above. In American society, the Easter Seals Society uses the Fleur de Lis, French flower of the lily, as their logo, and they have no religious affiliations. Most church groups decorate with lilies on Easter morning. Instead of inheriting the truth, they inherited Babylon. They do nothing Yahuwah instructed us to do, but everything he ordered us to never learn to do. Never. Athena is Greek for a deathless one. Mankind is exploited as they search for love, and few find the eternal love of their Creator as they fall prey to schemes of the devil. Notice the serpent next to the shield below. It has been said Athena would shake her spear when she heard lies. And this part of the mythology about her gives the pen name Shakespeare to the unverified author of 400 years ago. And this is the depiction for that. Shaitan, or Satan, hides and imitates. He is often depicted as a female persona. This being has deceived every nation of the whole earth. He rules through a beast, worldwide authoritarian teaching authority, imposing its control. It is the reign of Babel and operates in 3 estates: clergy, nobility, and laity, or the common people, us. A 4th estate has developed in recent centuries called the media. Easter. This is the next portion. Easter, beast pagan festival in the spring. The appointed times of Yahuwah are totally ignored by the reign of Babel. But you may say the word Easter is in my King James Version translations and not inspired, and errors exist by the tens of thousands in many translations. The word in the Greek that underlies the word Easter in the KJV is Pascha, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Pascha, and it means Passover, from the Hebrew word Pesach. All scholars admit that this is an error in translation, and it only appears once at Acts 12:4. Luke, who wrote almost 40% of the Nazarene writings, NT, didn't put it there as Easter. The KJV is the only translation with this error. There was a previous English translation made by the Catholic priest John Wycliffe during the 14th century. He lived from 1320 to 1384, and his bones were burned in effigy for this unauthorized English work. He never used the word church, but rather used the word congregation for the word ecclesia. William Tyndale's translation has used congregation, and Henry VIII burned him at the stake. The worldly order, the Nicolaitan hierarchy of clergy or nobility or laity, the three estates.